Hi, thank you for clicking on this video. Quick disclaimer, this is a real-time footage of the video podcast that I captured, and as you can see, it's PowerPoint, so we're not going to use that. We will use a standstill image instead. Next time we're back on Classic Tetris Monthly, we will be back with a video podcast. Until then, hope you enjoy this show. Much love, and thank you for clicking. Welcome to the Piece Dependency Podcast. I'm your host Frank, also known as Sir Mazer. Today we have CTEC organizer Chrisstoffer on the show. CTEC has been around since 2015 and Christoffer also been around since day one. He's proud of that, and you could tell from the conversation that we had. We also talked about the beginning of CTEC, him and the community, but also CTEC 2022 and the changes that will be during CTEC 2023. This is our conversation. Chrisstoffer, welcome to the Piece Dependency Podcast section. What's we doing, yes?
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Hey, first question is always the same question to everyone who's new on a podcast, and that is, how did you get into NES Tetris?
Well, of course, Tetris has like been everywhere all the time, always. And the NES part is for me anyway was when I saw Ecstasy of Order, just fell in love with that, and then at the time I was also doing arcade, which I still am, and then Svavar asked me, because he had also seen Ecstasy of Order, and he's also seen King of Kong, which I also had seen, and then he was like so good at Donkey Kong, and can't remember if he'd already done the kill screen, but he was the talents on he owns were like amazing. And then he said, "How about Tetris?" And that is, I think it's maybe in 2013 or 14. And then I knew that I would be able to do like quite a big already back then, quite a big tournament, and to me it just made like a lot of sense. It would be dedicated to Tetris, and I also knew that for a lot of other people, like this is a place where people play concerts and stuff, and for a lot of people that would be they wouldn't get it right away. So I just enjoyed that whole part of it, together with dedicated people and all that we did in 2014 with the Danish Championships. And then I contacted and reached out to Vince and Adam, and then we talked about it, and I said, well, I would like to do sort of a world championship in the PAL format. And then we agreed to have the same aesthetics and all that. And I think they were here at the first one I did in 15.
They were, yes.
So, and that was they stayed at our place, so
oh, nice.
I remember them being here. But I just the whole thing about all the years, and because I'm always looking forward, like ahead and stuff like that. Instead,
you rarely look back.
I do, but there are people out there who are so much better than I am to collecting and putting it together. Because I'm for me it's I always like. I enjoy the ideas of like what can we do, how can we expand and how can we do that. And then we also went and visited them the year after. My girlfriend Amy, I call her my wife because we have children together.
Nice.
And then we stayed at that place over there, and and then we got like a whole friendship with the World Championships. So that's kind of how it came into my life, and it's just been growing, and it's just like it's a part of my life now. It's I think about it quite often, and then because I grew up with the Game Boy version, which is also
of Tetris.
Yeah, and which is also why I mean, for me, why I at least wanted so badly to be a part of CTEC, and I'm so thankful that others have the same, and the team is up for that, and all that, and with the whole new dedicated Game Boy team and all that.
So you said you are into arcade games, like then it comes to mind the original Donkey Kong arcade game and all that. So did you watch the Donkey Kong documentary before you watched the Ecstasy of Water?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
So how did you knew about Ecstasy of Water?
I think back then I just constantly searched for gaming documentaries. I also saw Get Lamp, which is about text-based adventures and all that. There were back like 10 years ago or more than that actually. There weren't that many. There were like Chasing Ghosts and stuff, but there weren't that many documentary. This video game thing that we have is because it's very hard to describe what it really is, because it's interactive, but it's communicating, and it's media, and it's entertainment, but it's also a sport, and it's so much. And back then, only 10 years ago, it wasn't really seen as such by the public, I would say. Not enough, and it's with the esports that is kind of got like a foot in the door, I think. But for me, it was so obvious that this was a way of life for many people, and this was what we like to do. I mean, I also enjoy other stuff, but it definitely something that I'm passionate about, and I see other people being, and so I was just constantly looking for anything that would be a documentary back then. And then I came across that one, and I just, even the intro, like where you see the drops doing the Tetris effect, where you just see, like all that, I just, yes, I was hooked, and I was just so happy when Sava asked about it. But I think I maybe someone told me about Ecstasy of Water back then. I'm sorry if I forget, because I was so hungry for it. And that one definitely, that made an impact, and
So you mentioned that you started playing on Game Boy Tetris. When was the first time that you played Game Boy Tetris?
Oh, that's back when the Game Boy was released. I didn't come from a lot of money myself. And the reason why I did have like computers and stuff was that then I started working at an early age to get some money, and I also had a Sega Master System back then, and I was like into Sega, and don't hate me for that. And I also had a Sega Mega Drive, but I had those two consoles because I won them by playing video games at like local toy stores. I got the highest score, and then I won. So that was a way for me to get it. So I was a lot on the whole Sega, and I actually had a lot of games and all that stuff. But the Game Boy, I got that very late because I couldn't afford it to begin with. But my friend had one. He was more blessed in that way. But I was so stressed out every time I played it. I just like. It was like my brain needed a fan, because that was just like, this is so important, you know. Once you start playing, it's like I don't want to fail.
Exactly. I understand.
But you always do, you know. At Tetris, you kind of always, except for when you're playing a versus game. It's you're always like, shit, I shouldn't.
I mean, if you play a versus game, you don't want the opponent to top out because you want to play more and more and more and more.
Let's see what we can. Yeah. Yeah.
You just want to push. When was the first time that you played NES Tetris? Was that before the XT Water documentary, or was that after you saw the XT Water documentary?
Definitely after. But I was collecting because nowadays I also have I'm in charge of a museum in Copenhagen where we will be doing the tournament as well. And I just when I say collecting, it was more like if just people knew that don't throw it out. I will find enjoyment with this, or I would pass it on to someone else, but just don't throw it out. And so I did actually. Yeah, I do. You know what text TV is? It's like on old school TVs. You would also have you could see what's the program for today and stuff. Like you could do that from the remote control. Yeah. And
text TV.
Yeah. What was my point with that?
We still have that in the Netherlands.
Okay, yeah.
We still have one of the few countries.
Yeah, I think we also do in Denmark. I think we have it. And I just even the aesthetics of that, like ASCII and stuff like that. I love that. Yeah. So I also went at some point really way back to Burger Time is a game where you do burgers, and I love if a green bar represents salad, that's just I love that. So Tetris on the NES is something that I think that I just, because I had it on the Game Boy at some point, I didn't need it in a different versions. I understand that today that they are different, but but the gameplay and just on those two 8-bit versions, they're just so great. They just really nailed it. So I just I got it late, and I got it after watching XT Order. But then I went to every market I could get, or anywhere I could go and buy it. And at some point in Sweden, when they had a gaming expo, we went there, and I talked to some of the people who were selling. What's going on? Why is everyone buying out Tetris? But they know now.
But did you knew the XT Order is playing on NTS version? It's recorded. It's basically the process of the very first Classic Tetris World Championship, so it's based on NTSC Tetris. Did you knew back then there is a difference between PAL Tetris and NTSC Tetris?
Yeah, I did. But that's mainly because my older brother is also a computer dude from uni and PhD in datalogy, it's called in Danish. Data science or something like that. So I've always had that in my life, that I watched him diving into all this. So I don't know why, but I definitely knew about NTSC and PAL from very early. I also think it was from VHS tapes and stuff like that. You couldn't buy them from America and use them in Denmark and all that. So I knew, but I didn't know back then how much it mattered. I know that now. It's there is definitely a reason why people play the two different versions as two different kind of Tetris games. Definitely. And I of course I'm a fan of both. But what I do is I represent a part of CTEC. I'm the guy who's been there from day one and wanted it to happen. But again, a lot of people have been here working on CTEC along the years. I just don't want that to be not a part. That is, it's also one of the reasons why I am doing it is because of these people that I enjoy the team and all that. But it's I lost it. I think it was it's just so much, because now the memories are coming back. But
great.
Yeah, but there is definitely, I see that there is definitely a reason why there is two different tournaments. Definitely.
Essentially, they are two different games.
Well, yeah, if you would say that Tetris would be a category of gaming, like let's say you have platform gaming, and then
Yeah.
of course you have puzzles, but let's say that Tetris would be one of the main, then that would be two different Tetrises, if you ask me, because of
Yeah.
frame rate and all that. That's
Yeah.
for sure. And yeah, and it's just amazing to see how people are how they are approaching this game now. What's going on with like flipping the controller, all that. It's like
All the dedication.
we would never like. Well, I would maybe wish for something like that back then, like that someone would just push this beyond,
Yeah.
like. But oh yeah, what I wanted to say, sorry, is that what I am and what I, like just when I speak here, I'm not CTEC. I am Christoffer, and the main thing is that I've been there from day one. That's the main thing, that people can come and go and join the team, but I will always be passionate about Tetris, CTEC, and I will even like when my second daughter was born, well, both of them actually, but yeah, it's so it's just that's kind of who I am in this whole thing, just to make that clear, because yeah.
So you started organizing tournaments in 2014. The main play style was DAS at that time. Tapping was not really a benefit on PAL. Like the DAS players could keep up with the tappers, like, but rolling changed like the whole game for both PAL and for both NTSC. Like we've reached glitch colors now on both versions. Did you expect anything like that in 2014?
I will still say that I remember a time where if people would be able to play on level 18, they would be the kind of already in the finals. Like they would be so great at it. So already back then we saw a huge gap, and then quite quickly players caught up, and tapping wasn't maybe such a surprise, because I mean many people have been tapping in other games. I remember doing it on the Master System a lot. Especially in sport games. So I mean, I'm not saying I was good at it. I'm just saying it's a technique that we come across. But yeah, now it's rolling is it's something to make very wise decisions about. It's so different where people are going with Tetris once they do that. It's I don't know. I guess on top of my head, I don't know if it's a bad thing, but like in football, I don't watch that much soccer, but football, they have like dots on their shoes. I guess it's if about running fast is what that is about, then they would run faster with that on. And that would completely be different if you had a team with and without those dots.
Yeah, exactly.
Underneath. So you would have to say like, that would be a special situation for people who didn't have dots or something like that. But at the same time, I enjoy so much watching Tetris that both styles are like amazing to watch. So. Yeah, and this is it's a very good time to have this big team backing up, because I have changed my mind throughout the last year a lot, like in what I would have done. Because I'm very honest about it. I am not the best at Tetris myself. Playing or knowing what is like current events, other people are better at it, and as a team, we're really good at it. And so it's a very good time that they speak their minds, and there is a platform for it, and all that. Because oh my God, but I would just have made so many bad mistakes if I would have gone on my own. That would go for a lot of people who weren't on that level, I think, as the team and the players and all that, because someone couldn't imagine that, like, how much this changed the game.
It changes a lot.
Oh yeah,
but it also, like, under Tap, when Tap was the dominant playstyle, DAS was pretty much dead. No DAS player can ever win a major tournament, both in NTSC and PAL. But Rolling now revived the DAS only tournaments. Like, it brought a whole new genre to the game.
Yeah, and I can speak on my own behalf. So if I put anyone in a bad light, it would be myself. I think I was of the idea that if we did a DAS tournament, separate something like that, it would be to limit the game. And I myself would be against something like that. I would be probably a bit more, arcade-ish gaming style. People will just have to learn to keep up. But I very much understand now that isn't necessarily what it is about, because the style of the game and all that, you can adapt, of course, what you have learned from tapping or something like that. But and of course they are good players. You cannot just flip the controller around and then suddenly you're the best in the world. Of course that isn't the case.
No.
But yeah, I just I understand that it's kind of tennis versus badminton, I guess, or something like that. It's two different games. What is the catch? What is your catcher? Something like that, and that's And I would say that there should be room for both disciplines now. That's definitely where I stand on it.
It's like softball and baseball.
Well, yeah, probably yes. Except for the fact that baseball is so dominant in the world, I think that so many more people watch. I would prefer that both styles got a lot of attention. It's just because I don't see DAS as a limited version. I understand if someone is practicing rolling and they say, it's faster. We have to. That's what these games are about. I understand why a player would be saying, why waste time and all that. But again, I'm a part of the team who organizes it more than I'm the gamer myself. So I want this to be respecting Tetris, and I want it to be for the audience, like people around the world, to get more out of watching Tetris and maybe start playing themselves. So from that point of view, it's definitely two different ways of playing Tetris.
Well, the World Championship for DAS is this weekend. CTW DAS is this weekend in Cologne, in Germany. So the best DAS players are gathering right now in Germany to play their World Championship.
It's exciting, and they have now also built up like a history, a legacy around that tournament, and that's some of the stuff that I really enjoy and respect, and I just feel like happy about seeing that others are also putting the time and effort in it. And that's they've really proven themselves, and they are good at what they're doing, definitely. So
last year was a major success.
Come again? What? Sorry.
Last year CTWC was a major success,
and I think that is also another part of the reason why it was so obvious that returning with CTEC after 2 years of not doing it, and me trying to prove to people that, hey, now finally the people can start playing and not worry so much about organizing. I got this. Well, I didn't really. It was quite overwhelming. So much stuff gone wrong. A lot of the stuff was out of my hands. It was. I don't want to put anyone under the bus. So it was. It wasn't just the team. It was a lot of the circumstances here in Denmark. But besides all that, I thought that I would be able to manage doing this again, and that was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
But yeah, through the COVID years, the online scene had given so much. I was just a part of it, like trying to speak my mind and stuff like that. But they
Yeah.
really did it. Like they could have easily done it without me.
Yeah.
And it was just so wonderful to be like not concerned so much.
Exactly.
I mean, I enjoy the trouble and the worryings at some
Yeah.
level, I guess. Otherwise, I don't know. It's good. Like a masochist or something. I don't know. It's or the other way where I don't know what it is, but I can't let it go. I just love trying to
Yeah.
improve on it. But I had just seen that people had just done like the amazing job, and I just wanted them to maybe feel what I had felt then, and just say, okay, of course, anyone who wants to pick up a pen and start writing names or something like that, yes, high scores down, something very welcome, but please don't feel like you need to do so much. Just come and enjoy that the community can meet up again.
Yeah.
But that was, I mean, after what like the Dash Championship in Germany.
Yeah.
And that one in Germany was so well organized from what I've heard. And because the criticism of what should have been improved in Germany was criticism that I would be like, yeah, but that definitely is something that can happen. That is not nobody. That's nothing compared to what, like, it's not the championship's fault. They did such a great job. It was easy to tell. And now it's just kind of like in another arcade, like Chasing Ghosts that I mentioned, an arcade documentary where he says he quotes the Bible or something like iron sharpens iron. For me, that's just when I see that they managed to do that. They had also been like locked down in Germany and all that.
Yeah.
It just makes me know that, well, I could have done it better. We could have done it better in Copenhagen. Definitely. No excuses. So it's yeah. I'm a big fan of it.
So we're gonna talk about CTEC 2022. We're gonna talk about the improvements that is going to be CTEC 2023. But I want to take back, like, I read all the match databases, but I couldn't find you on any match database. Have you ever played an official match in NES Tetris?
Yeah. Yeah, I have. The nickname is Chris18 because I in one of the first championships I played, and then there were, I think, reporters and stuff, and constantly, hey Chris, you have to do this, but I only managed to do a game where I got 18 points. I think you get more points by just holding down and just So I just I never improved on that, I think. Is it
something you still try to qualify for the European Championship, or are you like, oh no, I'm just doing the organizing part, just let the players play and I do my part?
Well, the problem is that the players keep getting better every year, so it's like more and more difficult to catch up.
But you can train all year long.
I can. And I haven't given up. Of course not. I want to do it at some point, but it's just when I'm at the like when we're competing, I will have to, like, my mind is everywhere. I have to do so much.
Exactly.
I cannot get in the zone. I'm in like everywhere. So it's but it's still, I want to do it. I also sometimes practice versus on Game Boy, just because that's more difficult to train. So I think I could get like quicker there, but then I see people playing that now, like they are so great at it. But yeah, I have tried a little bit, and back in 15, the first year, and those years, it was also more like we didn't have, like, you didn't have to start qualifying on a certain level and all that, because it was, for me back then, very important that the feeling that everyone could give this a go and maybe win it all. Like on a good day, you could win it all if you had, your skills were there. Like if you really were there. But I know now that still we see new players coming in and just taking down everything. But it's getting more and more difficult, I would say, and there will be, of course, like you have to start at a certain level, and all that is something that we will always talk about now. And I get that. I will probably, with the Danish Championship for like many years, keep it open that you don't have to do that in the like just so that that people can come and play Tetris. And again, that is also something that I haven't arranged much. The Danish Championship, people are welcome to do it here in Denmark and arrange it if they want. It's just I'm so like I'm doing so much with the CTEC, like the meetings with the locations, and at the moment I'm testing equipment. And
how do you try to keep up with the scene? Like, how do you try to keep up with the community, with all the changes that is going on?
Well, now we have after last year, we right away I put it out there because I talked to people during the tournament, and right after maybe even was the first update, I can't remember, but I said let's do this as an online team. Like let's actually go back to that like we did during Corona. Let's do it online because it's been my worries every year were that people didn't think I was catching up with anything, because I didn't know what to write. Honestly, I didn't know what to tell when I wrote something, because stuff changes. The tournament was free every year, so it was also a matter of finding a venue which would do me a favor and booking us. But they could never book us like a year in advance, because if someone would be paying, because we had some great venues, and if someone would pay, they would of course say, okay, then you cannot do the free one. And for me to bring those concerns out there, I mean, I kept them and just worked with it, and so the community could just focus on like, let's go to the great tournament. But I always regretted never saying so much, but I always try to keep up. Back then it was mostly through Facebook and stuff like that, and of course Svava, he told me stuff like what's going on, because he is a very dedicated player, but those conversations are always difficult. It's because I have a big bar, this arcade bar where you can play arcade, pinball, and drink alcohol and sodas or whatever you want. We meet up there quite a lot, of course, and I often set up an NES so people can play Tetris and stuff. But I don't think people know the trouble I go through when I say, well, I cannot speak about that. Anything CTEC related that isn't official, I have to sit like at my own bar, everything, like, and I cannot participate because that would give them an advantage in the tournament. So I'm not. I mean, I talk a lot. You can already tell, right? But I think when it's about CTEC, I actually just have to sit and listen a lot, and I get a lot of information in, and I cannot bring anything. I cannot do a ping pong there so much, because it's just, I don't want it to be unfair. It's so important. But
you just need to watch out with all the alcoholic drinks they give you.
Well, I have free bar, but I think I learned by now. I don't. No, but it's but now it's the team, of course. The online team. It's no matter how much work I would do, I wouldn't be able to do as much as they do as a group. And we have especially two teams, one for the NES and one for the Game Boy. I bought a whole bunch of those, the new print PCBs, so you can stream way easier now than we had to do the past years. and they even speak to the ones creating them and all that, as far as I know, and they speak to developers and that. And I would never, I would never be able to do that single-handedly, or even because I was never the only one organizing this. I don't think I never felt that alone. But we were, and that was a big mistake. We were very much a group of people on location, like arranging it beforehand. Where should we set up stuff, and of course we talked to Muff and all that. But I think Muff would be correct if he said that he didn't get enough information out of us. Yes, I would say he didn't. He was everyone was putting on a tight spot, of course, because like none of us did this professionally, especially not at that point. But we managed, but it was of course stressful. But we were just I think maybe as a on location team we were maybe afraid that what if we start introducing concerns that we didn't need, and then we would get lost in organizing it back then. Because there are so much that has to go right, and my main part of it was always going to the like on national TV, national radio, all that, and promoting it. And I mean, some of these tournaments, I had to be up 4 o'clock in the night and then go on morning TV. You know, those morning programs. To talk about Tetris, and you had to be there at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and then they will start, and it's live and all that. And that was my main job. So when I arrived on the location, I would already be a little bit tired and stressed and have a lot of impressions. And then we started organizing it. So I think maybe, at least for myself, I would be afraid, because there are a lot of concerns that you can open up to, and a lot of good input, a lot of it. But at the same time, organizing it, I think other people who organize it knows that there will always be stuff once you start, like once the tournament starts, that you have to be ready for that as well. Which is difficult. So
you have to even be ready for the unexpected.
Yeah, and that's just so much. Yeah, but I of course I regret big time that we didn't communicate as a team online. I regret that big time. I can only learn from it, and I can only say that I'm blown away of how well it's working out now. It's and it's also productive, It's not just a team sitting and talking about it or discussing, debating. I mean, we can disagree, of course, but we produce something. And now with the new webpage and all that, you will also be able to find the rule book, all that. Like all of it will be there. Something that we wanted for, I guess since day one, but it's been like it just hasn't been happening.
So let's talk about day one, the Danish Championship in 2014. What was the reason you said to someone, I am going to organize along with a group of people the Danish Championship?
For me, it would be, of course, the experience, but the like, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's a dream come true in some sense, right? If someone said, I really want to fly, and then I want to go to the moon, and then they go to the moon, like something like that, but a bit more reachable. But it's definitely but it's definitely something that I knew that people would be like, that makes sense, but how? Because back when I also started working on building arcade and all that, people would say, like, even when we started to looking for space to do this, they didn't understand what we were doing. They thought it would be an internet cafe or something like that. And with Tetris, they probably thought it would be also like an online, like from day one or something. So I really enjoy the mind that it was back then. That I would take this so seriously, and so many people wouldn't get it until they saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something to work for, and I still work for that. I mean, I think CTEC will reach stages that people will be blown away about, and also building up the community and all that. That's the whole legacy part. We like that. CTEC started in 15. Like, we have a legacy now. We have so many who has won and all that. And once that settles in, and once we can display all that, that is also mind blowing, at least.
Yeah. So
but yeah.
what made it that you organized the Danish Championship in 2014? What was the reason that you were like, okay, why don't we try to organize the PAL World Championship?
But I wanted to find the best one. I mean, it's a perfect game. Tetris is such a beautiful game, and when you watch people who are good at it playing, it makes like you everyone is like amazed. Everyone I show a video of this is amazed. So I knew, but I also respect very much if someone has built up like a brand or a tournament or something like that before me. So I also knew that a lot would be depending on the team in America. If they because I hadn't worked with a team from America like this before, and being a Dane, it's we get it from American TV, and we think everything is like copyrighted and lawsuits, but it isn't. They were so friendly and forthcoming, and actually they wanted the same as I did with all of this, and we were very similar, amazingly similar in what we want to happen. So
So how do you promote an event like this? Is the PAL World Championship, the Classic Tetris European Championship? How do you promote that event? Like, how do you try to get the best players worldwide? How do you try to promote an event that's brand new? Like back in 2015, the Boom Tetris for Jeff meme video didn't even got viral. So it's a very niche player group that's A, play PAL, and B, are maybe willing to travel to Copenhagen for the championship. How did you try to do that for the very first Classic Tetris European Championship?
Yeah, okay. There are many ways and many strategies, and I'll see if I can divide it. First of all, back then I knew that I had, like in the first years, I had to also focus on the Danish Championship to keep people from the street coming and playing. When I try to promote this, it's very different if it's an on-location tournament, because then it's who is it for then? That's a big question. Is it for the players, or is it only for those who can travel? Is it for an audience? Is it and it's everything. So I try to promote it, and this is something that I a lot of it learned along the way. Going on live TV and all that doesn't do what I hoped for, because it's not that many people who will read the Friday newspaper and say, "Oh, that's where we're going today." Unfortunately, their weekend plans are already made. So all that work with journalists and all that was like such a crazy ride and fun and learning, and like was really funny. And I think I will start doing it again, because it's just Tetris, wins from it. And that's the other part. That's the online image that we have. Like one could say, because we have a close to non-existing YouTube channel, for example. If we wanted to build that up, well, that would be good content, and would be good to have national TV shows or something like that, just to show that, okay, this is actually pro in many ways. And then we would a viral video would do a lot for us if we would get one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, America is a different place on Earth, so of course they would experience more people coming to their event. But I'm not. I mean, I'm not so sure that it would bring that many more people to any European country if we had it. Like some of the stuff that I focus on is and that is why at some point we have to talk economy, like not necessarily you and I, but because there is of course a thing. If you win a cash prize, it's different than winning a trophy, because a cash prize is government needs to have their part, and it's suddenly a lottery kind of way. You have to prove a lot. But it is a very big concern of mine that if someone wants to join, but they can't because of the travels, the money.
Yeah.
So that's something that definitely, because if everyone could just come at any location, then then I would spend way more time, I think, if I had more time, on promoting it as a online situation or something like that. But one of the ways that I've done, because of course I'm not saying that we don't do anything online. Of course we do online, and we also have like a graphic team now and all that.
Yeah.
But the way that I saw would work was inspired by what they do in America, is that they are a part of the Portland Expo. And then I saw that the finals, that everyone from the Expo, that all the audience would gather and group around Tetris, and maybe they didn't come for Tetris, but at least they went and they felt it. And that was something that was very inspiring. And it's kind of like in the very old days when people came home from America. Oh, I've seen it. And I had that feeling. And then someone said to me, because he was arranging an expo, and he said that he wouldn't do it after all, and I should do it. And he said that while I was serving at the bar, and I had there was so much stuff was going on. And I said, I don't think I can do that also. I will get back to you. And then within that evening, I said, I'm going to do the expo. And that thing has proven to be, at least for the event itself on location during those days, to be very good investment. It takes a lot to have. I mean, if you have like, because then I did the expo also, and we didn't become like a part of someone else's expo. We did the expo.
You did the expo and the tournament.
Yes, we did the expo because of the tournament. We did it very much the other way around, but it worked. Okay. It really worked. Yeah. But it's ideas like that where people say that's crazy before they see it. They oh, but you're so stressed out with the Tetris itself. How can you also do an expo? Well, let's give it a go, because we have to. I don't think we will do the expo this year though, because Tetris really needs to prove for every player and everyone that the new team, it's like it can do this, and we know what we're doing now. We no fiddle faddle. We'll do this. But I expect us to do an expo like as soon as possible in the forthcoming years, where this is part of it, because it's not that
like joining an existent expo.
No, but it's not that difficult for me to do an expo if I'm already doing the CTEC. The problem is if we're not hands enough. But the museum, for example, then we already have the game room that every expo needs to have, because we have it's my games. It's literally my own games, personally, that I have bought throughout time. So people can come and play those. And an expo, I know so many now who has something on their mind or heart, or doing something with NES or the Game Boy or something developing, or a game or music or something, and they're very interesting to come and do a talk. But we can also do that, and because of we have a quite strong retro gaming scene in at least in Copenhagen, but I actually think in Denmark, and we have, like, on top of my 3 different shops where you can go and buy retro games with a nice selection. Ruben and Bobby have now 2, and then Nintendo Pusher, the Nintendo Pusher, that's a big place now. So with those, especially Mass from Nintendo Pusher, the owner of Nintendo Pusher, he stepped in and then he would be in charge of the market space, because then he knew all the dealers who would deal retro gaming, so he could be the one on that, and I didn't have to. And Julian, my friend Julian, who's been a big part of CTEC, he would do like tech stuff. If a game broke down, something like an arcade, something, he would be on that. Muff and Sumas and Jago and all those, they would be like the streaming, boof, and Yahoo at some point, they would do that, and things just kind of worked out because they would be in charge of something that was so dedicated an area, and they did it, and they just and actually that year, the year just before Corona,
2019.
I actually managed to sit down and watch a lot of the tournament.
Oh, nice.
That was amazing. It was. It's still very strong for me. And it was. So
to me, 2019 CTEC is the best CTEC ever. Of all the editions.
Yeah, but it's such a cliche to say it's like a child. But I meet new faces.
I can understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I meet new faces, but I also meet again old faces, and every year is present in the next year somehow.
Yeah, exactly. I get it in if you look at it from an organizer perspective, like 2015 was your first year, and then you grow and grow and grow. But if you look like an outsider like me, then you watch it year by year, and you will judge every tournament separately.
But I get that. I would say that most people would say that successfully would be the best year. And that was, it was actually the answer to how do I promote it. Well, that year I decided we'll do an expo. We had done it past years as well, but that year I was able to get the location of the museum and all that. So so I just that is I would say the way to go is that you want an audience, and like most of them will be from the country where the tournament is, and find a way to get them in, because it is still for some reason a little bit difficult to sell Tetris to the wider. Like, I don't know why. It's like everyone knows what Tetris is, but again, I could do, if I did like a Universe Olympic Championship in Pac-Man, everyone knows Waka Waka. But again, would they turn up? That's the problem. And I'm not saying that Tetris and Pac-Man anyway, but you know what I mean. How to recognize the game. Everyone knows.
But if I tell my colleague that I am into NES Tetris, they are like, oh, so they are thinking Tetris on your mobile or Tetris on the Switch or whatever. But if I need to explain that I play a very specific version of of Tetris, like NES Tetris, on a very old console, like I have the NTSC original NES console, I have the PAL original NES console, that I paid a buttload of money to ship one from America, the NTSC one, to here, and they just don't understand it, that I spent like $500, €500 on a NTSC NES setup, like including CRT, including controllers, NES. So they're like, but it's like a 35-year-old game. Why do you want to spend that much money, or why do you want to dedicate so much of your time towards this game while you can play Tetris 99 or the Tetris Grandmasters on the Switch, or Tetris whatever. Puyo Tetris.
Yeah,
So it's still, Tetris is widely known, but the NES Tetris is still
yeah,
so niche and so small in comparison to guideline modern Tetris.
absolutely. But what I'm trying to say is that if you want, if you really want an audience to be amazed, and you can just hear the wave of audience like, oh, when stuff is going on, and like the
Yeah.
19 where we had to put up extra screen for the back and all that stuff, then
Yeah.
then you have to work around like with an expo. Then at least people would still enjoy Tetris if they come to play, I don't know, LAN, Duke Nukem setup or something like that, or they just
Yeah.
want to buy a retro gaming or sell maybe a retro gaming console, something like that. But there will still be people who would enjoy this somehow. But that's, for me, was obvious. It was an easier sell, but of course it's also more work to do an expo. But again,
Yeah.
but again, not necessarily that much more, because if you already have the equipment, the expectations would be more for the Tetris scene, because
Yeah.
people are more dedicated. People are just happy to be like, not everyone, but a lot of people, a lot of family would be happy to play, I don't know, 10 or 20 different retro gaming consoles, and they would be, I
Yeah.
remember that one. I remember they would just be happy that they
True.
could come and try it. Where
Yeah.
we are now with Tetris at a more competitive, serious state. So that takes a lot to make sure that it's all fair, and
Yeah.
that is that is not going to be too late in the night and all that stuff. Where the other one is more forgiving, I would say. So
Yeah.
it's easier in that way. And I hope that we at some point would do an expo as well. But at the same time, I don't think it would be a good idea for me to drop that on the CTEC team and say, oh yeah, by the way, I'm also doing an expo now. I think that would be, they would kind of be very not pleased about that. And I would get
Tournament
that.
is 2 months away. Tournament is 2 months away.
By the way, I can easily do it.
We will return to the conversation, but first, we moved home from YouTube. We are now on the Classic Tetris Monthly YouTube channel, where all our episodes will be available at full length. Join the Classic Tetris Monthly Discord server. Go to ctm.gg/discord to join the server and participate in one of our monthly tournaments and join the biggest Classic Tetris Discord server. If you have a suggestion we need to have on the next Piece Dependency Podcast, let us know through the socials or on the Discord. Piece Dependency Podcast is also available on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. There is also a Piece Dependency YouTube channel. On this channel, you'll see podcast highlights, mini documentaries, and other NES Tetris related topic videos. You can follow us on the socials at Piece Dependency, and we are active on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Now, let's go back to the conversation.
I mean, I myself, of course, have something to prove, or something like to show.
Yeah.
It's in many ways I have been the face of CTEC. I've done that since day one, where if anyone had anything, even people from the team, concerns,
Yeah.
of course people talk together, but a lot of it would also be directed to me as something that I should fix. And I'm used to that now. So I also understand that everything that people would want to be better would be thrown at me, and I've taken it. I would say this would be it was a rough end of last year and beginning of this one.
Yeah.
I really had to own up to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to do after you just been so stressed out and just been everything was just it was such a big thing. But I hope that everyone now has given at least a little bit of time to understand that I never thought that I could just easily do this. I made some wrong decisions about how to do it. but I'm used to getting, like, even no matter how great we do it, of course it can be better, and something will go wrong, and I'm the face of that, and that's fine. Then at least I'm that.
So yeah, 2022 was a very, very rough Classic Tetris European Championship.
Yeah.
To put it mildly, like in the end, the community took over. Essentially, right?
Yeah, definitely. But it's not that uncommon that we have helped each other out.
Yeah.
But but very much it's was too much that year.
Yeah.
One of the things is that whole area where we were at were supposed to have been open, like, I think a half year before. So when we went in there, people don't necessarily know this. It was a completely naked room that I had to work with. It was on the week that I finally got them to install some internet and stuff like that. They were, the museum was really cool. They did everything they could do, and I would imagine they paid a lot to make sure that CTEC would actually happen. Because otherwise, like, electricity, stuff like that was so much, because they were not open. We were let in at a building that was closed for the public. But they believe in us so much. But at the same time, as an organizer, that you move closer and closer to the date, and yeah, it was that was stressful. and of course, I've even heard people saying, couldn't you have had this at the bar? Like, sell this. I wish, man, and that's even a compliment in disguise, because then people didn't know that the whole bar was me calling Tuborg, saying, and then also get a license from the government to serve those days liquor, alcohol, and get that in, and getting Carlsberg, Tuborg to come and pick it up after, like, all that stuff. Just I had to, I had to do that, and then then we have to have people behind the bar and people to sell, and then I can't stop talking, so that's why I cannot give a whole minute of silence. But imagine being the team. I'm not saying me, but all the others who are put through this. And I am so saddened by them being remembered as being part of that year, because everyone mattered when they helped out, and the community for sure helped out. I was trying so much to make sure they shouldn't have had done it, so I didn't really prep people for it, I think. But it was so important that people stepped in. And at the same time, it's something that's something I still maybe have to learn more. I just don't like the idea that if you're part of the team, it might not make you able to play. Like, it might interfere with your results. I don't want that to happen. I want people, if they're part of the team, great. Then we talk about what will your role be once on location and all that stuff. But they should still be able to be fully concentrated on qualification and all that for themselves. And so that's also like a thing. And it was a problem that, of course, that would interfere with some of the others thinking, is my high score really put that, like, there, and what is being streamed and all that. And my main focus, without a doubt, was to getting through this. And I mean, at some point I was even backstage trying to solder the VGA plug for the Game Boy. Like, you cannot do that when you're shaking, or when you're like, it's impossible. But I was like, but we only have those two. We need to stream this. And every time I looked at the phone, it was like mad comments about what is going on online. And all I could do was to run around saying, are we online? No. Okay, poof. Are we, while they were sweating everywhere. And I will completely own up to, my main concern was to get through to what is going on location. And of course, streaming would suffer from that. And to live up to past years of streaming where it was all online, impossible for me to do. It's but I definitely have learned as an organizer to start way earlier with this. I mean, even though everyone had the specs because it's the same computers, same all of it from past year, and that worked. I even said, okay, what should I buy? And I got a list. I bought everything for streaming, but I've learned that of course it isn't enough. It's a human thing. We have to be there. We have to touch it. We have to Muff is so great because he tends to bring his own electronics, so he knows it. Like I can. Yeah. So that's so important.
Yeah. But do you think you started too late organizing 2022?
A lot of it was too late because I was so concerned with the venue. And setting up. I didn't even have, like, to begin with, where were, like, an empty museum. How would you get chairs? How would you get tables? Something that just should have been there. That and they were also like the museum was like there was also they wanted to open. So. It was also like I wouldn't point fingers at them because they were not at a place where I should criticize them because they were already working on their thing. And I knew that in the end we would help each other out, like now where we can go back and do this on that location, use their storage space for TVs and all that, which is also a big thing when you do this. But way too late. And I think that. For many people, they would think that my message would be that I don't need to ask for help or something, which it wasn't like that. But I just way too late. And again, it at that point it was 2 years of not doing it on location. I probably have luckily forgotten how stressful it was to do. Because like. I tend to do that as time goes on. If it's something I haven't done for, let's say, 5 years, it tends to become a very fun memory. And with 2 years of break like that, I just thought that, but I've done it so many times. So in that sense, I probably thought that I could do it more easy than I actually could. Yeah.
But was the team the same in 2022 compared to 2019, or did some members leave the team?
Again, everyone. I'm saying this because it's so important that if someone wants to join CTEC as a team member, let's say for a year, thank you for that year. Thank you for wanting to do this.
But how do you look now back at CTEC 2022?
But 22, no one from the past on location team were there. Matisse had been a part of it when we did it online and stuff like that. But I was quite alone on that journey. But it's my own fault. But we did have a team. We did have all that, but none of them had been organizing CTEC before, because people after Corona, with 2 years of forced shutdown and all that, people have other stuff to do as well, So they get children, they get stuff like that. So the main organizers who had experience also working with me can probably be difficult. I think so. So those that I was used to work with, they were not joining. I don't think it was because of me, but let me just be the face of the trouble. So let's say it was because of me. Maybe they will come back. But and I think that the lack of my communication kind of sent the message that I didn't need help or I didn't wanted help. Which was a huge mistake on my. I didn't know that it would express that. And I should have reached out right away. Once I knew we will do it on location, I should have contacted, for example, Muff, I should have constantly everyone saying, in 19 we did this. Let's try and get the group together. Like the band back together. Let's do this. But I maybe I was afraid that people would just be saying no or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So how do you look back now at CTEC 2022? Like, do you have a okay memory of it, or do you really want to block that memory?
Well, never. I don't want to block it. I personally I use it to hold myself accountable way more. So I know that because I was really stressed out there. Like that's the most stressed year, maybe most stressed point in my life ever. It was imagine after so many years getting to see the community that you love and you work for and failing at the level I did, not being able to deliver what is expected from yourself and from everyone else. That's something I will not forget, because that's something I learned from. But I have very strong good memories as well, and I have one of the wild things is that we decided during the tournament, we decided, let's have more station open. I did not have that in my strategy. We would follow the schedule, but I agreed on it. Setting up extra station during this event is very difficult, for moving around everything and making people understand it's their turn and all that. But we did it. We went with it, and for me, it was such a wild experience to suddenly see people competing all over the place. I understand that is not what you want for this tournament. I completely understand that is not what we want in 23. But I also stood there watching it, thinking, okay, this is very unique. This is people wanting to compete and working what we can work with, and this is once in a lifetime. So I allowed myself to enjoy for a moment that this was an experience that I won't get again. That commentator, but commentators walking down to that part of it with microphones talking about it, walking to the stage, that was just a 3D experience. But I was really stressed. I think people didn't actually see how many people were involved, because of one of the main thing was there were so many things that got wrong. And we shouldn't have set up extra. I bent under pressure. I said, okay, let's go with more stations. We were already stressed out. We couldn't handle more, but we did. We tried.
Was there a moment where you're like, I am not gonna organize 2023?
I don't think so. It's there has been afterwards, because it was clear that people might take it like in a different direction altogether. So but I tend to I've done this for so many years, so I know how difficult it is, and I also know what experience I have now through all the years. Of course, I can go wrong with stuff. Of course, I can. I'm just one person. But I think it would be a very big mistake for me to walk away, leaving this on its own, because I have so much experience. I don't. No, I don't think I mean, I actually honestly think that I'm good for CTEC. I just I don't think I am CTEC at all. I think especially it should be very visible now with the big online team and all that. But I think that any tournament should have someone like me where they can take it. Like they can take the pressure, they can organize, they can fucking make it happen. They won't step away. So I don't think I would have done it so many years if I would ever consider stepping away. I actually also at some point were like, but because I cannot control if people want to do other tournaments. Feel free to do it. It's I can only respect CTEC and the legacy of that tournament. So if someone did European Championship and just call that like that, okay, I would still do CTEC. People are very welcome to do that stuff, but CTEC has a history of great players. Of course, if I found myself many years in that where no one would be there, I would stop doing it because of the legacy. It wouldn't deserve that. It wouldn't deserve me walking around 30 NES machines by myself. Of course not. Then it's time to say it was nice for what it was. But we're nowhere near that. And you can definitely tell that when you see the team and when you go online, and we have the monthly meetings and they meet up and the individual groups, and I tune in and talk, and we're nowhere near that. We're really moving forward. I didn't think about leaving it, not at this stage, especially not when something goes wrong. That's not where I leave.
So you're using, especially for yourself personally, 2022 as fuel to make a positive change for 2023.
Oh yeah, definitely. I also do it to see, to feel grateful about when people step in, like how much it takes, and how many people are actually wanting this to happen. But I would never change my energy in it and what I do just because people will talk bad about me or something. No, people will talk bad. And there are just one winner in each category. The rest didn't become number one. Some are good at that, but a lot of people are also very angry at everything of the tournament because they didn't win. Stuff like that. I used that. 22, of course, had many other things to criticize. There was so much wrong. I know that, but I don't know. Of course I learned from that, but there are so many things that I learned from that. But hopefully I will learn that people are grateful that I didn't just quit, because then who would be left? And of course there are others who can do competition, and they're welcome to do so. It's I just know what CTEC can do, and I've seen it, some of it, and I just see something new now is happening, and that is like it will be so great with the online team that we're doing. We can take it places.
If you said that we know what CTEC can do, you can have the greatest of all time, the late great Jonas Neubauer, come into CTEC 2019 and just enjoy and participate in commentary and all that. But that is something what CTEC can do.
Exactly, and it can rival past winners, and we have a lot of material if we wanted to do like videos and stuff like that, if we could find the time. We have so many pictures, we have so much, we have a history as a tournament, and then we have the community. It's so big. I understand that if someone wants to do like an NES tournament somewhere, it's the same community they will use, of course. But it's just we have so much. It's hard to explain. It's a feeling, and some of these people I've known for so many years now. Sorry.
Yeah. How much pressure is there on CTEC 2023 in your eyes?
That's a lot, but at the same time, it's at the same time, people know that we're an online team now. Personally, the pressure probably isn't as big, but the expectations are very great, like high. And
I mean, 1 year bad tournament, it's not ideal, but it can happen. But if you have it twice in a row, that becomes a pattern, and I don't think you want something like that.
No, not at all. Of course not. I don't. I hope we won't do like a podcast in a year from now, and I'm like, so that was also a learning experience. That doing the no, but it's no, we're in way safer hands. I
Yeah.
also remember 23 now will also be some of the team that has already organized CTEC before. They will also
Oh,
be
yeah.
there. A lot of this, like it's a lot of people are very good at it, and I'm so thankful that they are stepping in, and we're just doing this.
Yeah.
So
So,
I expect it to
so,
be really good.
so what are the changes that are implemented for 2023, or what are the changes that you made after CTEC 2022?
Well, a stronger focus on the qualification, where you can sit and just qualify rental stations.
Yeah.
So you can not be distracted by queuing up for ages. That's one of the things. Um, um, the whole, of course, the whole streaming part of it. But when I say the streaming part of it, it's not just like a cam at the end of the room filming something.
Yeah.
Streaming, I think, is visually a lot of how we are thinking about it now, which
Yeah.
is a very good idea, good way to approach it. At least I'm thinking like that. That is also why, let's say, the Game Boy. Okay, easy. How should we set up the tables so that it's just plug and play with Game Boys, and then they're connected to an online stream, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Organizing that hopefully will be way easier, and people are prepared as a team when we meet up now to deal with what we have planned.
Yeah.
And I expect people to see that there will be like a flow where people are not so concerned about what is happening in an hour from now. And of course the online information. Again, I must say
Yeah.
that some people they I mean I can completely own up to this, that online is very important for people who are watching it. My
Yeah.
heart is mainly on the floor, like what is going on there, and the how it is in the room, and
Yeah.
that is why we have to be a team for others to deal with the stream. But
Yeah.
I'm also, I hate that some of the players who used to come who couldn't attend had to watch it online and not actually being able to see what was going on. That
Yeah.
that breaks my heart a little bit, actually, because I wanted them to be hungry for 2023 by watching
Yeah.
2022. I want people
Oh,
to
yeah.
say, after so many years, we will find a plane and go there. So
Yeah.
because a lot of these people have been a part of my life for so many years, and it's people I talk to,
Yeah.
and just it's so amazing to see in real life. Like it would be like if you were backpacking or going to some, but from so many different countries, and you just still
Yeah.
know them, you still see them, you still grow older together. It is so amazing. You cannot find it. I cannot find it any other way. And from whatever is happening to our life, we meet up. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
A difference will be, of course, the information. But the information should, the way that it is more connected is that we also need that on the location. We need a screen displaying your
Yeah.
rank, like what have, like where are you now, and who's up next, or stuff like that, which
Yeah.
we're working on, of course. That information part of it, it really killed me that we didn't have it. I thought we did. I thought we had it because we knew we were helped a lot by by Chris from Poland and all that when we did the online part. So I thought we
Yeah.
knew how to do it. I thought we could kind of go by that and then do it. Uh,
Yeah.
as everyone know, we couldn't. We didn't manage to pull that through. And but that is something we definitely need, both on location and online.
Yeah.
And there are people out there I want to prove to that we can do it. But it's not because I'm afraid that they will shit talk me. I hope they won't shit talk CTEC, but it's more those people who actually spend a lot of time on this tournament, and
Yeah.
I want to reach out and say, we've learned now, haven't we? And come back or something, or find the
Yeah.
passion for this. It's more about that actually. Yeah, and then I just don't want to let down people who are playing Tetris.
Yeah.
I think there's like a quote or something from a documentary where maybe it was for the Danish Championship. I think it was where we were being interviewed, and I don't know. I just said that I just don't want to. I think I said something like, I just don't want to cry. That's like the like my strategy, because if people don't find this good enough, I will just sit and break down.
Yeah.
Because I will get so disappointed in myself and what I've brought to the table. So
Yeah.
in a way, it is also a little bit like that. I don't cry a lot, but when I see something great, a CTEC or something like that, I expect it to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you say that you want better and more and clearer information. One of the ways is the Discord server. One of the ways is the website. How do you try to improve all of that, like the news flow?
Well, the commentators, for example, they will be knowing more about the players, and the website. It all kind of is combined in together.
Yeah.
Because online, I'm working on having more information, like the player index being updated. JJ has done like he's collecting so much. He's just whoa. He's such it's called an asset. Like he's so great for CTEC. It's so underplayed how much
Yeah.
important. Also with Chris from Poland, like what they have done collecting, it's so underplayed, and I don't know how to like it. I cannot show a picture of them holding a trophy. It's just
Yeah.
they are so important, because that part will play in, no pun intended, once we
Yeah.
go and do the tournament, because we can find the information there and sitting and talking and all that, and we can hopefully also use that to be updated and all that stuff. Keep information
Yeah.
happening, and like let everyone know this what's going on. At the same time, also pay tribute to all the past tournaments, all what is going on, what is CTEC, what is special about it, all that. I hope will be more clear from the webpage
Yeah.
with more data. It's the huge job cleaning up databases and all that stuff was also to make it more simple. So it was
Yeah.
more without being like a Google Doc with information, then still
Yeah.
more simple to go through and find the information.
Yeah.
And having a page like that for so many years, so much old information, what it takes to qualify, what control, like so many pages if you did a search on it, so many
Yeah.
pages with stuff that wasn't right anymore. So I completely started all over again. Is it a month ago or something that we launched it? I think. So everything will be found there. Also, when you come and compete when travel to Copenhagen and you compete, you will be able to go online and find like what is expected, like when to show up, like
Oh yeah.
what controller can I bring. All that stuff should be so easy to find. That is so stuff like this should have been done from actually day one, if you ask me. But it's such a huge work, and that hopefully will be very present. That you will be updated with information when you're there.
Yeah.
People watching it will also be updated, and people who wants to join in, they actually know that they are coming to join in.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So yeah, yes.
And competition-wise, you made the decision to go for a flat 8 bracket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why was that decision made and not go for a traditional knockout system?
Oh, we have had many debates, and some of this I cannot speak too much about because I don't want to put names in there. It's a kind of, once the team, everyone is welcome to join the team. And once the team has decided something, with pros and cons. But once it's decided, I would say it's a team. Even though some of it I will take guilt and blame for, but it's a team decision. But I would say it's about recognizing the players more, like having game time, having more action, more Tetris play. And it's also a way, I would say, that it just in many ways seemed more interesting to watch it this way and to compete and but there were so many reasons why. But I support this way as well. And it's again, interesting to see a change before like a difference in 2023. But we cannot stand still from 2022 either, saying, okay, let's just fix what was wrong. No, we also have to improve. So.
Because there were obviously good things in 2022, you need to improve that.
Yeah.
So, how is working with a team full of passionate Tetris players, maybe Tetris organizers from various different regional communities and all that? And how is it that you make decisions like? Is it you speak about monthly meetings? Is it like, okay, the flat A bracket that has been discussed in 3 meetings, and now we need to make a decision on that?
Time will always be a factor, but yes, we have a monthly meeting for the whole team, the CTEC team we call it.
Yeah.
And that team is also divided into smaller focus team. NES, streaming team, Game Boy team, graphic team, and so on. Some decisions have to be made as early, as soon as possible, because people have time to prepare for that. But at the same time, if it's something you have to prepare for, that decision has to be correct, because then it's one of great importance. So a lot of it is of course the whole team meeting up, deciding. And we also did like an extra meeting with one of the decisions, because we had to come out with like an answer that would be official. And then of course we also talk about like the community, like what we think they would like, and then we also take in if there are other ideas. I think that every idea is actually being presented. All ways of, for example, doing the tournament and stuff like that is being presented, and we go through it and respect it. But some of it is, on my part at least, is that if the NES team comes with something that they have as a team decided on, it's very easy to hear that they know what they are talking about. So it's well worked out their decision. So that would, in my case, I would say, would be a stronger voice than if I said, "Oh, I just want this," for NES. No, that is a reason why they specifically work with the NES part. It's because they know what is going on and what it needs and requires and all that. So every of those teams, they present what they've been working with the last month. And then we go through that, and some of it we know that we will be deciding upon. But it's, of course, sometimes it's very difficult. We don't want to make a mistake, and and I don't know if maybe the team. I would say my experience is that the team is just actually just working really like dedicated. Just they don't seem to be like bothered with the pressure, because I would probably, if I were a new part of the team, would be concerned that, shit, what if 2023 is messed up? Who can I blame? Shit, I'm now a part of the team too. But they don't, and I think it's because we know what we're doing now. Way more, and and we've done that. We've done it for like from the, I think was the first team meeting in December. It should be online, those data when we did the first one. So we go at it, and they really know what they're talking about.
What was the hardest thing to decide on, and what you can share with us?
Whoa. I guess I can. Well, that would be two things for me. I will share that. I mean, yeah. I can say that what I have been most concerned about is a dedicated DAS tournament. Because I had to learn a lot about why that would be important. At the same time, I knew that in Germany they were already doing that, and I didn't want to step in on that. It's the NTSC, but I didn't want to interrupt that. If that's a good thing going on, I don't want to disturb that. So for many reasons, that was a very difficult one for me, and I honestly did go through different this. Then I thought it was a good idea, then I didn't, then I thought, and then so it was very difficult, and we did debate it. So I think that was one of the difficult one, and I love what we came what how we will do it. I think that's a good way, and then it will be a learning experience. we will look at that, of course, and then for 24 say, okay, what to do then. Of course we will do that in a good way. Possible. But that, and of course the debate about the name. It's a thing that it is called Classic Tetris European Championship. And it's that debate is it's been going on all the time, every year. And
I wanted to ask about the name. So there was a poll. I can't remember. I think earlier this year, if CTEC should change the name to CTWC PAL, or just say it's CTEC, or name it something else. But why for you should? I don't know if you want to change the name to something else.
The way no, I didn't want to change it because I didn't want to again overstep the welcome and the respect that CTWC, what they have done. I wouldn't suddenly say, oh, we are this, we can do the World Championship now. No, they built something up, and that's always a concern of mine, because I really pay tribute to them. But I also think it's a very important thing that we have the same aesthetics. It's a good thing at the moment. We are doing stuff with our branding, which I also support. But it's been such an honor to be connected with them. At the same time, because one of the suggestions was, of course, that we would be CTWC PAL. I'm very afraid that CTEC would suddenly be even more in the shadow. That, we're just a sub tournament of something. I don't think we're a sub tournament. I think it's a very much its own, with so many years. So what we are basically doing is that we are just calling it CTEC. We're not. I don't think you will find it on the new, because I've gone through all the text on the new page. I don't think you see it as the European Championship like that. It is more that in Europe we had this PAL version, and that is the one we compete in the PAL version. I'm not saying it's a World Championship. I'm not saying it's a European Championship. I'm saying it's CTEC, and that is what it is. And it's always been like that, if you ask me, because no one were doing the World Championship in PAL back then. So we didn't need to say anything like that, and I don't want to say it's a World Championship in PAL. If that messes up America, because they really did a good job over there. Still do. So, and that's that's their success. CTEC has its own, and we also have our own vibe. Like we have our own community feeling and stuff like that. It's very community based CTEC, and you feel that once you're there, people saying hello to each other and having a good time together. So I still think it's its own, but I've on the webpage you can actually find that I've described what it is, and I've also shared that with the team. A lot of the information has been shared with the team before I put it out there officially.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that we're all on the same page. But people have for many years said that why not change it, and
I think the name or CTEC or European Championship really got in doubt when CTEC went online, and also the Americans could play and the Latin Americans could play. Like mainly Europeans are playing in the live tournaments. Like sometimes you have someone from a different continent. Maybe in 2023 we have more people, but like when Fractal got to the finals of 2021 against Sidnaf, like it was very confusing to see an American on a so-called European Championship.
Yeah, and that's 100% one of my concerns throughout the years as well, because it is an open cup, the tournament. So people from the whole world can come and play. So like an open cup, and it's also been something, because I don't think many people know how much we've actually worked on having like a platform for other who would like to do a tournament. But how do we make sure that is, and if someone auto qualifies, if a winner from in a tournament auto qualifies in CTEC, how do we make sure that everything went on as it should? Like, should we have at least this many judges, referees? What to expect? Should it be on original equipment like we do, or is a clone system okay? All that stuff. And another concern that I have, I call it the tourist. Let's say that I really want to auto qualify for some reason. I want to win and auto qualify. That's my goal. Then I would be very much. It would be way easier for me to do so in maybe the northern countries, because if we have more tournaments, then I could just tourist around. I could go to Germany, or I could go to Sweden, and then at some point maybe I was lucky that day and I won it all, and then I would also qualify. That would be unfair for someone who lived in Europe at least, or America for that, way away from these. And that's something like, what should we do? Do you have to be from that nation, or at least identify with that? And then nationalism suddenly comes into play, right? It's kind of a thing that's sticky. So it's, I think in Finland, that like JJ really did a good job. Like he really tried so many things out to have like a winner from the country and from coming in. Stuff like that, in my book, has not gone to waste. In Danish it's called empiri, but what we can learn from that. It's really, I'm really happy he did that. So, but it's
the funny thing is that I had the same conversation with someone I will not name, but they know who they are. Like I had the same conversation with some person from the community, and I was like, okay, but what if this was for the World Championship? But what if we gave the Benelux, Germany, like UK, we gave them one free spot to enter in the World Championship, and you have to win your qualifier event. So I am the founding member of Classic Tetris Benelux, and we are trying to host our very first live tournament next year. So what if you or Finns will give us a free spot for your tournament, like the main tournament? But someone from UK, Germany will come into our tournament and they win. Is that allowed, or is someone from our own regional like community, is that the highest place? So it's so funny to hear you say that, and I'm like, I had this conversation like 2 weeks ago, and it's so fascinating.
I have so many notes from me having to write different scenarios down, and throughout the years. It is a very good question, and it's something that I hope people will be open-minded about. If eventually we have to try it stuff like this out. Because I mean, we see it in America that they do regional kind of, and it's very interesting. But I hope people have an open mind when it comes to this, to us taking a little bit of a chance with that format. But it will definitely be something that we have debated and really worked on before doing it. I just there is a point in why it is in late November. Probably people don't know that, but it was to make sure that like other countries could do their tournaments throughout the year, and then all the qualifications could come in November. At the same time, it was also to make sure to make room for the Portland Expo and the World Championships there. But because they suddenly changed the dates, and then they changed it back and stuff, and that is because of the Expo they have. Luckily for us, we decide when the Expo is, so we can But now we said that is the date, but it is to make room and to say we welcome that people will attend these. And I was very concerned about someone traveling to a country where there wouldn't be many attendances and then just win it there. Even being, I was very concerned, but I don't mind saying this because it's my head here. I'm not so concerned about it because I think it could, in many ways, benefit a smaller tournament if more people would show up. It's just but I also, if it would be possible to work more with the idea that there would be two winners, one from who is like that, or maybe saying at the beginning of the year you have to put in your ticket on which country you choose.
Something like that.
So that you can say you want to do it in another country, but then that is your tournament. Because there is something about showing up at a tournament and you have your chance there. You don't get a second chance. But if you can travel around, do kind of the pressure is on, at least like that. But it's I've had some ideas with all of that. I also had like how long to travel. That should also get like stuff like that. But it's we'll see. It's very for me. It would be so nice to have like something official written down and people could look at it. Also, a guidebook for people who want to do their own, saying like keep in mind someone should take down high scores. It cannot be the same as the one doing like whatever. And we if have a referee, stuff like that. But if we could at some point help more, that would be that's something that really am wanting for the tournament, is for us to with all the experience we have, help out, have some sort of software, have some sort of like, let's say the scoreboard, something like that. What do we use? What, like, you just go ahead and use it, and at the same time, once you use it, it will also be presented at classictetris.eu. Stuff like that. Like, so it's all, once you step in the family and use the logo and all that, we will try and promote you. And it's just good for everything to do that, I think. And of course, once we try this out, for some it will work, and for some others it won't probably, and it will be, some would expect more, and some, we'll see. But I very much look forward to reaching that stage. I've been watching that for many years, for us to work together a whole lot more. But now it seems to be more approachable because of the team, the online team, that we are already having people who do stuff in that country.
So the last topic that I want to touch before I let you go is, how is the location and all that going? Because CTEC is happening at November 17, 18, and 19 from the top of my head.
Always. Well, the way, the rule of thumb, also, like the way to remember this, third week in November.
Oh,
that is where, always have that in mind. Third week. Well, it's going great. Like I said, I'm testing equipment, and because we have the same location, it's something, again, that I've been working on every year. We did this, so I wouldn't have to move it around. Now we could. Last year, pack down like systems that worked and also the ones that didn't, put a note on them and all that. So now I can go through it, test it way easier. Everything is sorted and stuff like that. And that is a huge thing for us to be able to do it now so easily. And also, actually, maybe you don't know, but there is a quite small, but there is a dedicated section at the museum about CTEC where you can go and learn about CTEC. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And also, I'm again, we definitely have to open up for rental stations. The thing about rental stations is I don't want it to be a bomb that we drop. So let's say that tomorrow you can book one. No, people should have time to know when is the date you can start booking. And stuff like that keeps biting, it keeps just, of course you should be able to book it by now. But if I just throw it out there now, then people will be like, so I didn't get my favorite spot because, I didn't know before,
Yeah, exactly.
That's something I definitely don't want to happen. But what I'm trying to say is also that, like, as you can imagine, it's only expensive money-wise. This, that's one thing I do. I do pay out of my own pocket, and I've bought a lot more systems this year. Yeah, but it's fine. It's fun. It's fun to do, and also we do get like sponsors who buy a system for us or donate one or stuff like that. Of course, which is all a part of CTEC. All dedicated. These are new systems. I have 4 up here that I'm testing, and I bought them as working and all that. So those are the next ones I'm going through. We have so many now, and I keep buying. So
hey man, last question before I let you go is, what do you hope what CTEC 2023 is, or what do you hope for yourself? What the rest of the year will be for Tetris wise?
Oh. I hope as we move closer to the date and the pressure is more on, that we will continue being so productive as we are and not trying to, it can be a stressful situation, and any person can be stressed and can suddenly think it's too overwhelming, and then it's the world that is too much or stuff like that. And if someone starts feeling that, I hope we as a team will know that, and we will help the person, and we will, that the whole team will see this as something that they feel comfortable in, and still are a productive part of the team. And then I hope that the tone is the way it is now, also because it's not, it's nice that we speak well together. And then I hope that we, when we meet up, first of all as a team here, when we meet up on location, that they get the experience that it is ready for them. Like whatever setup I should have done beforehand, I hope that it is what we planned it should be, communicated, and I hope that people still understand that this is a live tournament that is like it is on. At the same time, I hope that once it's happening and then after it has happened, that people will embrace it. It's a good CTEC is a good thing. There's been so much negativity about a tournament that we actually did manage to pull through. And it's such a shame that is the focus point, instead of us really working hard and so many people eventually doing their best, and so many people actually doing amazing when they went there and helped out. So that's one of the things that I just hope that the Monday, when I'm still cleaning up after the event, and the Tuesday and all that, when I'm going around cleaning up and sorting stuff on my own, and the solitude and beginning melancholy, all that, I just hope that I have the feeling that, okay, we are here again. Like we are people people really like this, and they had a good time, and they were seen in this, and they see themselves as a part of this, both the team and the players and the audience and all that. That's something, because it's a strong connection we have as a group, a community, and now it's so big, the community. And then I also hope, of course, but I'm not asking for mercy in any way. But I'm hoping that because people are really good at streaming, and I'm not, and people are really good at it. So I hope that they are also just, be on our side, try and help us. If we're doing something wrong, like see if there's think creatively. Is there something you can do from afar? Just saying hello, guys. Something, it was nice to see that what you did yesterday. Something.
Yeah.
Because for the team to come and do what they're going to do, they should get applause for it, especially after everything, and they should get applause for it, and not work because they were afraid of the negativity. I don't think they're afraid. They know what they're doing, but it's just that's some of the stuff that I'm thinking about when I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And I hope that I live up to the expectation, of course. When I'm saying that, a lot is the expectation of the people who want this to happen. People who don't want it to happen you can still criticize me no matter how well this went. Because this is the first time people have been so negative. And it's been a lot. But it's okay. I'm cool. but I hope. I can go on. Yes.
Christopher, thank you so much for joining me on a PDP this month. It was truly a pleasure to talk to you, and I really hope that you'll have a great CTEC 2023.
Thank you, and thank you for wanting to talk and making it happen.
And with that all being said, this will be the end of the Piece Dependency Podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and make sure follow us on the socials at Piece Dependency, and we will be back in October. Bye!